Hey guys, Captain Richard here. It's been a super long time since I've made a video, but something cool has happened. Um, One of my really good friends has produced and published a video game all by himself. It was released on Steam and on Android a couple days ago. It is called Caves of Lore, and I've been playing it, and honestly, I am pretty deep into it. It's like got me hooked. Um, and I thought it was really cool. And I wanted to interview the developer so that way he can talk a little bit about computer programming and his the his experience. It was a really tremendous interview, so we're going to show that to you right now. But you should check out the trailer. I'm not going to play it on my channel, but I will link to the trailer in this video's description, and also I will put links to the the Steam Store and the Google Play Store links. Those links you probably won't be able to open at school because we've blocked them. Okay, let's get to the interview because this is starting to sound like an ad for his game, and it's not the case. It was really cool to hear his take on what it's like to become a professional coder. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Richard.
Mike. How you doing?
Good,
Good.
good.
Okay. So first, just tell me a little bit about so we're first of all, we're interviewing you because you just had a successful launch of a
Yeah.
new game. Tell us the name of the game and what it's about.
Okay. The name of the game is Caves of Lore, and it's basically about a guy and his dog
Yeah.
lost in a cave system, trying to figure out why they're there and what's going on in the world. There's sort of a calamity that has befallen the world, and you're slowly unraveling what's happening, how you're connected to it, and what you can do about it.
Good. I'm glad that you told me that without any spoilers because
Yes.
I'm like 25 hours into the game.
Yeah,
I'm
you
pretty
probably are about
hooked.
halfway.
Yeah, I'm pretty hooked.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Mike. Like we've been friends for a while, and when I first downloaded it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just give this a shot because my friend made it. And then like,
Yeah.
and then like, I think I told you a while ago, I'm like, I'm gonna give this game the highest award I can, which is it's interfering with my sleep and eating.
Yeah.
So I've been enjoying it. I'm glad that you didn't spoil the ending for me. Okay,
Nice.
so like tell me. So is this your first game? Like, what's the deal?
I'm gonna say kind of. So when I was in high school, I messed around with like Pong, those kinds of things. Like, so
Mhm.
this is my first like large scale game. I actually started with, well, for a video game, I actually started with board games 12 years ago. I spent about 5 or 6 years making a board game, learning the ins and outs of that, having a good time, launched it, it failed. And then, deciding what to do after that. And, I told myself, well, I'm going to take some time off. But my brain wouldn't let me do that. So I pretty much took like a month off and then immediately started like brainstorming ideas again.
Mhm. Do you like what were like? Okay, so you failed. I often tell my students about the value of failure.
Very,
What lessons? So you failed this board game. Um, what lessons like became applicable in making this game?
well, well, A, that, you have to go in knowing that failure is possible.
Mm.
And that you need to have goals that are achieved, whether that failure occurs or not. So when I went into this current project, my goal was to have a good time making the game, so that the success of the game, because you don't want your failures to be something that demoralize you. And you will have failures, well, very likely. Not everything you try will succeed. So I would say that was actually one of the biggest lessons. The other was business is different than creativity.
Mm.
um, Not that you can't be creative in business, but having all the ideas and putting them on paper or code or whatever, and then taking that to a professional like level where you're going to sell things are totally different areas of expertise. And so I'm a beekeeper too, and this is I'm bringing that up because a lot of beekeepers love bees. They make lots and lots of honey, but they can't sell their honey. So they're able to produce, and they know a lot about bees, but that doesn't get honey onto shelves or into people's homes. So
Okay, that's interesting. That's really cool. And so I mean, congratulations on your success now.
thank you.
What is like where is how long has it been out, and like what kind of numbers are you doing right now?
It's been out for about 10 days, I think, and I think sold about 2,000 copies. Yeah.
Okay, right. And what
Which is a
platforms
lot.
what platforms is it on?
It's on Steam and Google Play. I'm hoping to bring it to the Apple Store. Also Switch, Xbox, there's no reason that I can't do that. One of the things I'm going to be working on soon is controller support, which will support the Steam Deck better, and just allow you to play with more ease. So
Tell us about, so I know that like you've been spending a lot of time working on the game, even though it's already out. So what have you been doing?
bug fixing.
Yeah.
So a valuable lesson is that 2 or 3 playtesters, maybe even 4 or 5, is not nearly enough. When you throw something out into the world with 1,000 other people, you're going to find bugs that you never comprehended existed. They find things. I mean, I've been playing the game for 6 years, and I've never seen these things. And when I look at the code and I figure out where it happened, it could have happened the entire time, but it didn't. Even though I have thousands of hours in the game. So play styles, the way that someone plays really affects the way, especially when you're the developer, you tend to play your game the way that you intended it. So you think you always click this button first, you always do this, but other people don't know that. And so they do it in a different order, and then you find bugs.
Okay. Yeah. And so, I mean, obviously this is not your first programming experience either, right?
Kind of is.
It is. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So great story here. So I was carpooling with a friend of mine about 6 years ago, and we were like, so I actually over the the past like 10 years before that, I had always been trying to get my coworkers to make a game with me. And so finally we're like, we're going to do this. Me and my friend, we're going to make this game. And so we came up with all these ideas. And I was like, okay. And I just jumped right in because that's what I do. I don't even try to plan. So I just started doing the pixel art. And I was like, okay, let me know when you can do some programming. And, he was really busy with life. I mean, this is not like a dig on him. This is actually great. The story ends really well, but I built these characters, and I was like, well, I have to see how these animations work. So I'm just going to do a little bit. I'm not a programmer, but I'm just going to do a little bit to make sure that the character can animate. Okay. Well, I should probably make sure that they can move. Well, I should probably just make some other characters. I should build the town. Well, what about this? What about like, pathfinding, and all the while I was waiting for him to come and do something, take it from me so that you could do it right. And he never did. And eventually, when we talked, I said, "You're not going to be able to do it, are you?" And he's like, "No." But at that point,
I bet he's kicking himself now.
Yeah. It actually, this was like one of my, what's the right way to put it? Like, I didn't think that I was capable of programming. I thought that's for smart people or smarter people. Like, okay, I'm smart, but I have a different set of skills. Like, I can't do that. Like, I'm not, my brain doesn't work that way. So this was something that I actually wanted to do. I went, when I started college, I started with programming. And I had what I would say is probably not the best professor, and I did really badly. And I just thought, I can't do this. This isn't for me. And I switched over to art because I knew I
That's funny.
art.
I mean, I thought that you did program. I thought that was I know that you have the art stuff that you do, but I thought that was also part of your job. Okay, interesting. So my students, when they learn to program, they often will spend a lot, because they have to make a little sprite, right?
Yeah.
And they'll spend a long time like getting into like making the perfect little sprite for this like tiny little demo that they're trying. So I often tell them like, yo, you got to learn how to program, make it work before you make it look beautiful. but maybe I'm wrong. Like, so like, what is your take on that? Am I right? They should learn to program first before art, but you're an artist guy. What, I mean, so
I,
what's your take on that?
I think it just depends on their personality. I want to bring up so for me, I have to follow the process that's in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that starts with like making the art perfect. Other times it's just like skipping the art altogether and using, a square. But so I have like really bad ADD and Tourette's syndrome. And when I was in school, like I did not do well. And sitting in a class in a learning environment, like I struggled a lot. And that's part of the reason why I thought that I'm not the kind of person that can program. Like I don't have the mental capacity to like sit and learn. And in part that was true. I can't open a book and learn how to program. I can't watch a video and learn how to program. I can get tips from it. The best way for me to learn how to program is to program. And sometimes like I call it the brute force method. So without having a full understanding, I would just try something, didn't compile, try it again, didn't compile, try it again. Hey, that worked. Why did that work? And then my brain would make the connections and that's how I learned to program. And I think it's important for a lot of kids who maybe think that they're not cut out for this sort of thing. You need to find what your style is and play to that, because you have to be in a learning environment that's catering to your learning style, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah. So
I'm for that. I mean, like, okay, so maybe I'll ease up a little bit on them with the programming thing.
Well, I mean, it does help to have some structure. And I'm bad with structure, and but sometimes just playing around, play it's like when we're kids, or how animals learn. Like we play to learn. Mm-hmm. And so and I know that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just take the reins off a little bit and see what kind of play they come up with.
Okay, so you've had over 2,000 sales. So
2,000 sales, yeah.
That means that 2,000 people have played your game, and I have I went to go check out the little discussion forums, and I immediately left because I didn't want to have anything spoiled for me. But I've seen the thousands of posts of people talking about it.
Yeah.
What's it like dealing with people on the internet talking about something you've made?
There's a lot of criticism made out of love. Like you see a lot of posts where they want you to change something or fix something because they're invested in it, and because they're enjoying it. Like they wouldn't be there if they weren't enjoying it, unless they're a troll, maybe. So you get a lot of passionate people that are very opinionated, and it can be a little tough, like trying to like just give simple, respectful answers. But some people started noticing and commenting how well I was dealing with people. And I think part of that was just keep it short, just be honest about things and be nice. Overall, I don't really like dealing with people, so it's not my strong suit. But it does connect you to the people that are playing your game, which is pretty cool. And they're mostly nice people, so I guess I enjoy it on some level. But it's a little nerve-wracking because you have eyes on something. Actually, when I first released, like on opening day, like that was like my most nervous period, because it went from passion project to something that other people are now going to form opinions about. And it left that safe little nest that it had been in, where it was just my baby. And now like people are going to say things about it, and some of those things won't be nice. And and there's been a little bit of that, but overall, they ended up saying a lot of really positive things that I wasn't expecting. So that's been great. But it definitely put me on edge and gave me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, and it's like, do you have like, I mean, how many hours have you put into this project?
Oh, I don't even know. So I kind of made a decision to work at least 5 minutes on it every single day, no matter what.
Cool.
even when I didn't want to. And
Uh-huh.
even on the days when I didn't want to, and there were many of those 5 minutes often turned into an hour where I actually was enjoying what I was doing by the end. So when it comes to motivation, don't get motivated to do the thing that you want to do. Just do it, and the motivation actually comes during the process.
Hmm.
It's kind of reverse of what you would think. If you wait to get motivated, you may never get motivated.
Yeah, we talk about a little bit about the difference between motivation and discipline, you know?
Yes, absolutely. So this was a discipline project, which kind of hard for me as someone who's ADD, a little all over the place. And actually, something with ADD personalities is the ability to jump from one subject to another, and well, like with ease, and to become fully invested in whatever the new idea is. And I am an expert at that. I can become interested in anything in minutes and make that my new thing. So this was actually really hard to. That's why that 5 minutes was so important, because I have sketchbooks full of unfinished drawings. You just get another idea and you just move on. And I decided I'm not going to do that, because people always talk about, hey, wouldn't it be cool if this or that, or oh man, someone should really do this. And we talk a lot about what we should do, or ideas that we have, but we never follow through. So I was like, I'm going to follow through. I'm going to do this 5 minute thing, and it really paid off, because 6 years later the game's
Yeah.
out. And I mean, and I have a job, I have a wife and two kids, and sometimes it was just 5 minutes, and that's all it took, just to keep the momentum going, so that it doesn't, because it can so easily just fade away, like if you
Mhm.
let it.
And when like after spending all this time, like what's been the what's been like the payoff for you?
I mean, there's been a lot of payoffs. I grew in my skills and my understanding of these different things, in ways that I didn't think I could. So, I mean, even when I started and was jumping into the programming, I still didn't really believe that I could do it. So I didn't start making a game knowing how to program. I started making a game not knowing how to program, and the it was just one thing at a time. Just, I guess, the power of it is similar to the 5 minutes thing, how powerful it is to just have one thing to do. Because if you think, can I make a game? No, I can't. But what can I do? I can do this one thing. And when you do that one thing, what's the next thing I can do? And that's what I did every day until I finished the game, because I didn't know how to make a game when I started.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, this has been super awesome. I mean, good luck with your game and all.
Thank you.
Um, I know that I know my kids will probably really appreciate it coming out on consoles, like Switch
Yeah.
and Xbox.
Yeah.
That's like seems to be the prime way of playing, but it is out on Android, and half of them have
It
Android
is.
phones,
Yeah.
so they can check out Caves of Lore. So, all right. Thanks, Mike Robbins. You have a good night. All right.
Thank you. You have a good night
Okay.
too.
Yep. Okay. Well, thanks a lot to Mike for being generous with his time, and for giving us a really great interview. There was a lot that surprised me with that. So again, links for the trailer and the game are down in the video descriptions. Take care, guys.